Welcome back to the Mistletoe Secret. I am the immortal spirit of Christmas itself, Daniel Kunkel.
And I'm the crumbs in Santa's beard, Trey Plutnicki.
This week, we watched November Christmas and the Santa Suit.
And the Santa suit is deeply disturbing for a couple of reasons, and we'll get into that very, very soon.
And November Christmas is the most boring movie you'll never watch.
Okay, so here's what I'm feeling about November Christmas. I'm getting like Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 vibes, okay?
Okay.
Bear with me.
Okay.
The reason why Spider-Man 3 was acclaimed as one of the worst superhero films of all time, which you can agree or disagree with,
Yeah.
to each their own, because there are too many cooks in the kitchen, okay?
Yeah.
There are too many cooks, so Sony wanted to do what it wanted, Sam Raimi wanted to do what he wanted, he didn't feel comfortable with the decisions being made, so it turned out to be a less than stellar film. I think November Christmas also suffered from the too many cooks in the kitchen vibe. Okay.
Yeah. I think because we've got talent. We certainly have some heavy hitters in this film. We've got Sam Elliott, Sarah Paulson, John. I don't know if it's Corbett or Corbett from Sex and the City.
Yes.
And
no, these are some good actors.
This is some
and
good
I will
actors.
say the acting was good.
Yeah.
But
this to me, I think we can, and here, I think one of our few times, I think we can look to another studio to how they've done it. I think we should treat this very similarly to the Sony Spider-Man movies with Marvel.
Okay. Brilliant.
Where I think there's some soft canon here, but this isn't a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, there are things to remember. There are things we need to remember here, and they'll be informative to the future, but they aren't necessarily, like, canon.
No, This was produced by the Hallmark Hall of Fame Productions, which has been around for a very long time, I learned.
Yeah.
Since, like, the 50s. I think it's one of the first and one of the longest running, like, series production houses, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. This was distributed, though, by CBS in 2010 when it first came out.
Okay.
And I think this feels so different from what we have had before and also our other film today.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I like the difference between November Christmas and... Okay, so the films that we're talking about today are November Christmas, which might be one of the most... It's not a bad movie, but it might be one of the most boring movies I've ever watched in my life. And The Santa Suit, which is just nonstop yucks from every point of view.
November Christmas is the movie you put on when it's like right after Christmas dinner with the family and everybody just kind of needs something on so you don't have to really talk to each other and you can just digest all the food you've had.
Yeah. Or it's something that you put on after Thanksgiving when you've eaten all that turkey to really lull you into a fast and steady slumber.
And it's never bad. Sam Elliott talks a lot in this movie, and that's never bad. It's never...
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Sam Elliott is one of the most Sam Elliott characters ever. He's a kind-hearted farmer in this one.
And who had pumpkins? He had trees. What else did he have?
He had pumpkins. He had trees. He had Halloween decorations.
Yeah. In August.
So
ready.
So this one feels very like, I agree with you. I like turning it on after Thanksgiving to know like, all right, guys, Thanksgiving was pretty fun. We had some fun times so far, but it's time to start gearing up for the big one. Time to start getting ready, Whereas Santa Suit is what you turn on like Christmas Eve, maybe day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah. It's what you watch at like 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. It's dark out. It just got dark out. You're winding down.
Yeah, it's too early to go to bed, but you've already watched like Elf and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, you've watched the good movies already.
Yeah, you already watched the good movies, so you're like, what else is on?
But I can't legally go to sleep yet because it is Christmas Eve. I want to stay up a little bit longer. I want to watch this one because it is a nonstop thrill ride. So give me the rundown for November Christmas. What happens in this movie?
November Christmas. Okay, so it starts off sad. I think the first 5 minutes of the movie are just music. The first 5 minutes is montage music of scenery and such. I'm pretty sure credits are supposed to be rolling. And I think credits are rolling, but honestly, I can't tell you what the point of that is. But what we see, we see like a woman who's about to tell a story to a group of kids, you know?
Yeah.
And this serves as the framing device, because then we smash cut to a little girl getting out of the hospital. Okay.
And I like this because we're setting up a mystery of, okay, because the woman telling the story, kind of in her mid-20s or so. When we have the flashback, we see 15 years earlier. So we're like, oh, this could be the same girl. There's a mystery here where they don't tell us right off the bat if this is the same girl grown up that we are going to be hearing her story.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little engaging.
Yeah, I was. There is a noticeable jump in, I think, overall production quality.
When I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, this looks like a film, you know, instead of like, you know how Hallmark movies kind of look like either like soap operas or sitcoms, you know, especially the Christmas ones. But this one looked like a film.
I think that's where that studio involvement you were talking about earlier is really coming in, where, you know, studio put some money into it. And I think because of that, maybe they might have messed around with the vision a little bit because they put so much money in there. You know, they got those nice film cameras out of storage to shoot this thing.
Yeah, they really got those Red Epics prepped.
Yeah, they were ready to go.
Fresh SD cards. So smash cut to this little girl getting out of the hospital with a life-threatening illness. I don't think it's... Is it? Did they say it's cancer?
They said... she doesn't have any hair, and they say it's because of chemo.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I remember them mentioning chemo.
A soft implication.
Yeah.
They get her like this snow globe for as like a discharge present.
Yeah.
And then she gets super sad because she doesn't get sad, but the father gets sad for her. So they get the snow globe, and then Dad's like, "Oh my God, is she gonna ever see the snow?" Real Hallmark stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is real tugging on the heartstrings stuff. So for 45 minutes, we're just kind of playing with people's emotions and like setting up characters that don't really need setting up.
No.
You know? And like you meet all these people, like you meet these people that work in this diner, and I still don't know what their relevance is to the overarching story.
There was there's a subplot about the girl at the diner who drives the bike, but she wants to drive the car. Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about it again this episode. They meet Sam Elliot and his wife. Sam Elliot is a farmer. Sam Elliott's very first line in this movie is talking to a rooster. And it's actually it's pretty. You can tell Sam Elliott's having a bit of fun with it because he's like looking at the rooster and he's like, "You see that? It's the sun. Why aren't you crowing?" It was actually very fun, and then nothing else happens for the rest of the movie.
Very charming. It was a very charming moment. I mean, like, okay, so, and I texted this to you, when we were watching it, and I was like, is there just one song in the movie? I was like, there's one song in this movie.
There is one pretty good, slight violin and piano song in this movie
and
theme.
And I'm glad you mentioned that it's good, because when I heard it the first time, I was like, oh, this is nice. This is a surprise. Like, this is orchestration.
Yeah.
You know, because usually I turn on a Hallmark film and I'm like, oh, they just they went into the back and they dusted off like an 8-track cassette of whatever jazz single was ready in 1960.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But for this, it sounded like they actually wrote music for it, which was nice. It was a fantastic surprise in the beginning. They played it the whole time. The whole movie, 1 hour and 30 minutes, they played that song for every scene change, for every sad moment, for the happy moments, for the melancholy moments, and even for the moments that I don't think particularly needed music.
No, that song did more heavy lifting in one film than pretty much anything else I have ever seen. So this little girl, she has cancer. The father is very worried she will not be able to see Halloween or see Christmas. And so he goes to Sam Elliot to buy some vegetables from him, and Sam Elliot, in his wisdom, is talking to his wife, and he's like, "That's a worried man there." So Sam Elliot, and we don't quite know why Sam Elliot is so in tune. We learn later on that Sam Elliot's 14 or 15-year-old son has died. A little while ago. I got the vibe of it. Felt like it was a good while ago.
Well, he's old, so like he's old. Like, what is old?
He's Sam Elliot old.
Yeah. And
so Sam Elliot continues to decorate their house or get the town together to throw these holidays for this little girl. So they have a Halloween party. It's like a pretty good Halloween party, frankly. And
there was with a montage and the whole 9 yards.
With a montage and everything. And
playing that song.
Yeah. And then they are about to have their Christmas party, and the little girl gets really sick, and she has to go back to the hospital. And this is at hour 1 hour 20 minutes into the movie, at least.
This really could have been like a short.
God, we have like 16 minutes left in the movie, including credits at this point. I swear, it sounds like we're skimming it over to get to the Santa suit. We're not. This is
nothing
all
happens.
That happens. The girl at the diner is a writer, so you're like, oh, maybe the woman. We cut back occasionally to the woman telling the story. Maybe she's the writer. And like I said at the beginning, I thought this was a fun mystery. And then on the third, maybe the second time they cut back to the woman reading the story, one of the little kids raises their hand and is like, so, did you get better? And she was like, I did. I was very sick, but I did get better. And I was like, well, we're 45 minutes in and you just told me that she survives. So why do I care? Why am I worried about anything now?
Well, I was actually talking about this subject with my parents. I was like, they were like, the good part about Hallmark movies is that you always know they're going to end happy. And it's like, I would argue that isn't a good part about Hallmark movies, because I want to be surprised. If I know it's going to have a happy ending, I see it in the future,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
and I feel like this.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, I feel like this movie encapsulated that pretty well. How like knowing everything is going to be okay kind of spoiled the broth, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much the movie. There was one weird thing where it was at the end, a little girl, I think, comes up to her and is like, did you really never have to go back or something like that? Like, did you not have to go back to the hospital?
Yeah.
And she goes, no, I had to go back again. But after that, I got better. I was like, why even include that? Why like that? See,
that to me was the one moment of realism I really appreciated, where the movie was like, there is no magic here. Getting over cancer, especially at a young age, can be really difficult, and it is not over just because we had a really fun Christmas party.
Yeah.
That said, super weird, and as you said, unnecessary. Yeah.
I think that's all we need to say about November Christmas. And I, truthfully, even with my BS and Santa studies, I don't know, like, how this connects to the other movies in the universe, in the HCU.
I would suggest, as a bit of soft canon, I think this is flexible. Okay. I think we should pay attention next time we have a movie set way out in the country, I think we'll have some more connections then. Sam Neill mentions being in the army at one moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think maybe we can be a little bit soft with the timeline right now until we get things more settled, and have it be that he is the captain who sends the girl's brother in Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
She sends Gabe's. He is the captain who sends Gabe's father home in Call Me Mrs. Miracle. That's a little. I think it's a little weird time wise, because I think we liked Call Me Mrs. Miracle being in 2010, which would mean this is in the future.
Yeah.
So maybe then he is a part of the same. He was a part of the same unit in the past, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something like that.
This technically takes place in what? 2025?
Possibly, yeah.
Does it take place in 2025? That's wild. So it either takes place in 2025 or...
Wait, no. The flashbacks would take place in 2025. The movie would take place in 2030.
No. Wait, hold on. So if it's 15 years, she's reading the book in 2010. If we're assuming that means the events of the movie took place in 1995. Or we can say the events of the or we could say she's reading the book in 2025 and the events of the movie took place in 2010. Which one are we going with? I'm going to default to you on this.
Oh, God.
I have a feeling this isn't going to be important at all, but I feel like these are the type of unimportant things that you learn in your master's to get your master's degree.
It is, certainly.
Yeah, certainly. Of course. Yeah.
I am going to say that the future, the non-flashback parts take place in... in 2010.
Okay. So she's reading the book in 2025.
No, sorry. No, the future is in 2010. The flashbacks are she's reading in 2010.
Okay.
But then that would make Call Me Mrs. Miracle take place in at least 1994.
Oh, so now
which doesn't work.
Are you going to
No.
It doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work.
Okay. Do they say the year in that movie?
They do not say a year. I'm trying to think if we saw any phones. Phones, I think, are going to be a big help.
Cell phones? Well, they do. I think there was like a little bit of like BlackBerry sort of action going on in Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
There definitely were desktop computers.
And their emails.
Yeah, they're like hardcore emailing. And there's not Starbucks, but there's a Starbucks equivalent.
Yeah. So that's tough. If you're going to make that call, that's a tough call, sir.
I'm not going to make that call. Let's leave this in the soft canon. I think this is going to free float for a little bit.
Yeah. I think it really might be a standalone, a Pixar short, if you will.
I like a Pixar. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Pixar short.
It's a little bit of extra seasoning in between, maybe in between 2010 and 2011 if you want that little hit, but that hit's not available right now.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
So is there any other things you want to talk about in November Christmas?
God, no.
Thank goodness. I cannot wait to talk about the Santa suit.
No, the Santa suit was a real treat, and I'll tell you why. Because the second I saw that man in that desk, I was like, "We're back, baby." So I watched November Christmas first, and I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, is this the week where I'm just like, let's never do this again?" It wasn't, because of the Santa suit. The Santa suit said,
"Yes,
here I am Mr. Business. I am throwing darts in my office. I am on a business call where I say Merry Christmas or whatever." A line movie.
He's throwing darts at a wreath. At a picture of a Christmas wreath.
He said, "I don't care.
Man.
Make the toys make me profits."
This dude, man, we thought that the dad in The Town Christmas Forgot was business, business, business. This guy takes business, business, business to a whole nother level.
No, not The Town Christmas Forgot. It was the first one, which I can't remember the name of.
The Night Before the
Was
Night
that
Before
the
Christmas.
town the night before Christmas, yeah. Where that dad was business, business, business. But at least he like operated on some at least he like learned like at least he cared, you know? At least he like pretended to care and then he actually learned. This guy straight up doesn't care, like full stop. So let's talk about this.
So the Santa suit is about Hunter Toys CEO Drake Hunter. Oh man, what a name.
Which I would like to point out, his toy company, his toy logo is the Indiana Jones font.
Yes.
And gradient exactly.
Yes.
Like when it's like on the dolls and stuff, it says Hunter Toys, and it is literally the Indiana Jones typeface exactly.
Between that logo and Kevin Sorbo, who plays Drake Hunter, Kevin Sorbo's hair, this dude is the Michael Bay of Hunter Toys, of toy CEOs. My God, I love this character.
It's so funny. Yeah.
So he has turned Hunter Toys from a fun place to work into a ruthlessly efficient toy production company. They make them fast, they make them cheap, and they don't issue refunds, baby.
No refunds, no holiday bonuses, no insurance.
No insurance.
No insurance. Nobody works a lot. There's just a lot of workers. He treats his employees terribly. And also, the plot of the movie, the inciting incident, what gets the ball rolling here, is he has a plan to unleash a Santa sleeper cell into his city, to invade the local toy stores, to whisper in little kids' ears, hey, kid, buy Hunter toys. And that's his marketing plan.
They have a whole floor of their corporate headquarters dedicated to training and arming these Santas.
Yeah, sleeper cell Santas.
These mall Santas.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's fantastic.
And this backfires because the magic of it. This guy is in this sleeper cell Santa meeting that they're having. This is, by the way, it took 45 minutes for November Christmas to have something happen where I was like, oh, something's happening on screen. It took 3 minutes.
Yeah, Santa suit
for the Santa suit to kick into high gear.
Oh.
So Santa shows up on this floor where they're in this sleeper cell meeting, the first sleeper cell meeting, like actually Santa probably, and he raises his hand and goes on his moral high ground or whatever, like, we get it, Santa. And he like talks up, meeting's over, they tell everyone to go to the 4th floor, all the Santas to go to the 4th floor.
Yeah.
CEO walks in. He has a conversation with Santa saying like, hey, yeah, go to the 4th floor, baby, or whatever he said. He probably said baby, I don't really know. Probably. I wasn't really quoting there. Yeah. He's like, baby, go to the 4th floor. He touches his nose, and then he's gone. Wind rushes
straight
through his hair. Yeah, and Santa's disappeared. Okay? Now, Daniel.
Yes.
With your master's degree, I need to know if you caught this, because I caught it instantly when I saw this happen.
All right. Now I'm scared.
When he walks out of that room, when the Hunter CEO walks out of that room, did you see his reflection in the window right to the left of the door?
Oh, yeah, he was Santa already.
Yeah, because he was Santa already.
It was fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. So what happens is Santa body snatches this man. Literally takes over his identity, where he knows himself and like looks down and sees himself as what is his Jake Hunter? What's his name?
Drake.
Drake Hunter.
Come on.
Drake Hunter, sorry. He sees himself as Drake Hunter, but when he looks in the mirror, he sees Santa, and everybody else sees him as a mall Santa. And that is the poison that actual Santa inflicted upon this man.
To look like Santa.
Yeah, he sent him into poverty.
So he could learn his lesson.
Yeah.
So he could really learn his lesson and understand why what he was doing was wrong on a business, on a moral, and on a humanitarian level. So yes, he looks like Santa Claus. He gets arrested for trespassing and becoming vocally violent with the employees of Hunter Toys. He has a restraining order placed on him by the judge. The judge is also... Everyone else sees him as Santa Claus. And I wish this movie had really committed, and Kevin Sorbo's in the beginning and in the end, and the rest of the time, it's this dude as Santa. Looks like Santa. Because we have these occasional cutaways where he looks like Santa, but on the moments where he's being a real Grinch, it's Kevin Sorbo. And it loses the power a bit.
Yeah.
But, so he is banished to the world. No money to his name, nothing on his back but his Santa outfit. But to him, it is a Armani suit. He is given the number of a social worker to go check out, Nancy Baxter, the social worker.
Which might be the most iconic meet cute we will see in Phase 1.
I was going to ask you where this ranked on your meet cute chart.
So I guess you could call this meet cute phase, you could call this meet cute part 1.
Yeah.
Because meet cute part 2 happens at the end of the movie.
Yes.
This meet cute is by far the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because you're watching it and you're like, he's Santa, and she knows he's Santa, and it's like, does she just have a thing for old guys?
Yes. She does.
Not old guys, Santas.
She has to. Yes, not old men. Santa Claus. This man looks
who won't take off his Santa costume.
This Santa is a different Santa than the Santas we've seen before. This Santa is played by Derry Robinson, who I pointed out to Trey at the beginning before we started recording. This man has 12 IMDb roles. 2 of them are not Santa. This is a professional Santa player. This dude looks like Christopher Kringle all the way.
Yeah. No, this is
Drake, looking like Santa Claus, goes to Nancy. Nancy, very kind to him, gives him a place to stay, helps him get on his feet, recommends a place he can go and get a job. He goes and get a job. As a Santa, with my favorite side character so far.
What's his name?
Sebastian.
That's his name.
He is marvelous. This guy rolls in. He is the elf to Kevin Sorbo's Santa.
Yeah.
This guy rolls in though, and he's like, "How did you get the job? What did you study?" He rattles off this list of acting teachers. He's like, what technique?
Stanislavski.
Did you do Stanislavski? Did you do Meisner? Did you do Chekhov? What did you do?
He's like, so you have no training and you got this job?
Yeah, he's like a raw actor. I hated it. It made me want to vomit. As I look at my BFA in acting on the wall.
I know, as it's hanging up on the wall right beside me. No, I like. For me, parts like those are painful because it's like, oh, come on, we're not like that.
No.
And then meanwhile, I'm like, well, the work of Stanislavski is probably a lot more sophisticated than the work of Meisner.
The question he's asking is absurd. He's not asking a question. Anyway, he meets Sebastian. This movie is riddled with some great added dialogue. So we got some dialogue that was recorded so clearly after the fact.
That are thrown in from the back.
From the back.
What was the one in the toy store?
Oh God, there's so many in the toy store. The little kids get the best one, except for one later on in the movie.
The little kids.
So Sebastian is obsessed with toys. He collects traditional, like, old handmade toys from different countries, too. So at one point, Kevin Sorbo's like, hey, distract them. And Sebastian's like, who wants to hear about 19th century Portuguese toys? And all the kids actually in the scene grumble and growl. One child, clearly recorded in a sound booth after the fact, crushes it. And it's like, you're boring. It's really good.
Yeah, there's so many instances like that. It's spectacular.
So yeah, Kevin Sorbo becomes this mall Santa. He notices this young girl who keeps coming, but she doesn't want to talk to Santa. It gets really creepy. The amount of times Kevin Sorbo gets upset that as he constantly reiterates that this little girl will not sit on Santa's lap. Weird. Very creepy. Don't like it.
Yeah, I also don't like how many times he says, "Come sit on Santa's lap." It's like,
again,
what, you don't want to sit, or like, what, you don't want to sit on my lap?
Yeah.
It's like, stop saying lap.
Stop saying sit on my lap.
It's already lap.
It's a strange tradition, we know, but we roll with it until
it's like, stop saying.
Until you call it out, and then it becomes bizarre.
Yeah.
So he eventually tries to befriend this young girl who's very quiet. He goes to Nancy, who really informs him about the very, like, real issues that families who don't have a lot of resources struggle with during the holiday season, where, she can't go to school right now. Schools are closed. So these kids don't have anywhere to go. They're not in any, programs or anything. So they'll just go to stores and hang out there because it's warm. And sometimes they can get people to, like, give them some food. It's very tragic, actually.
Yeah.
So Kevin Sorbo makes it his mission to make this girl's Christmas. He and Nancy visit the girl.
But he doesn't...
No, please.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how. He doesn't. At this point, he doesn't know how. But with the like you said, Nancy, the social services person.
She's a social worker.
She and Kevin Sorbo, I guess that's his name now, which his character's name as Santa is Chris Crandall.
We continue the tradition of Santa being a terrible liar in this movie, where they ask him, what's your name? And he's like, Chris Crandall. So obviously lying to any normal human being would go, are you sure? You're sure that's your name?
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Crandall as the guy who's the mall Santa.
It was awful.
Wonderful.
It was awful.
Yeah. So they visit this little girl's mom, who Kevin Sorbo wants to I was gonna say, I don't know what he wants to do with her. He
wants to help her. I think he's worried about her. And it's
just
sweet.
help.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
But he's worried about her.
So they go over there and they have a chat with the mom, and the mom works for Hunter Toys.
Oh my god. And you left out the very important detail that the family, the mom and the little girl, live in Kevin Sorbo's old house where he grew up as a child.
Yes. Yeah, and he has these lovely flashbacks of his dad treating him well, and then which leaves you time to wonder what happened to Drake Hunter.
Yeah.
And we're going to uncover that. We're going to get to the bottom of that. Because we need to know what happened to Drake Hunter from when he was a kid, a grateful child, to when he was an adult, a blood-sucking CEO.
And to the point where his father had to sell the picture frame that held the photo of his dead wife. We're continuing the dead wife trend, thank God. Get him out of here. He had to sell that to buy Hunter the bike that he really wanted.
Yeah.
How did he get from there to running a very successful toy company that his son would go on to ruin the legacy of both him as a man and him as a businessman? So they visit her. She mentions that she wants this doll that Hunter Toys make, which is the one non-cheap toy. Drake very quickly learns from Sebastian and from the other individuals that he meets that Hunter Toys makes cheap toys. Everyone knows they're cheap. They break on Christmas Day, and it ruins people's Christmas. His toys ruin Christmas for people. Which I don't think he cares about Christmas, but he doesn't want to ruin it.
Yeah, and I think it's this realization here, sitting and talking with this, with one of his employees.
Someone who is on the ground, someone who made his millions for him.
Yeah, I think it's here when he's like, yeah, so like her literally saying, yeah, the CEO treats us like absolute garbage. Like, I'm not sleeping. I don't have enough money. I have to pay money to the company if I don't meet quota, which I'm fairly certain is illegal. Like, I'm almost certain that violates a U.S. labor law somehow. That feels like
some antitrust shit that we worked out in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, that feels really illegal. So she's saying all that, and he's like spilling his coffee and doing the whole like Three Stooges thing. And then I think that's the transformative moment for him.
Yeah.
But the actual transformative moment for him is when he leaves this place, goes to his own storefront.
Well, he does. He really puts in the effort for this like toy drive. He's like, maybe I can get her this toy through this toy drive. He's pushing this. So he starts pushing the toy drive instead of Hunter Toys. He's really pushing for this toy drive that the shelter is running, that the shelter he lives at is running. Because the doll that the girl wants, that Hunter Toys make, is like $250. This is certainly the toy train of this movie.
Yeah, it is the train.
But then she doesn't show up. She doesn't come to the toy drive that he worked really hard for. And then the moment you are describing happens.
Yeah. So he walks. So he's outside on the street in front of his toy store, and he's Santa, and he's looking at this doll in the window in the storefront, and he takes a brick as Santa Claus.
A random brick on the side of the road.
A brick on the side of the road.
In New York City.
In Mayor Bloomberg's New York City. Mayor Bloomberg's
New York.
He takes a brick and he smashes the window of the storefront, yoinks the doll, and books it.
And gets crazy. Immediately seen, recognized as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
By a Hunter Toy
Santa.
Yeah, by a Hunter Toy security guard, chases him down an alley. He goes down the alley, which leads to like a warehouse owned by Hunter Toys, and he tries to get in, but he can't. This mean security guard traps Santa and is like, haha, I'm gonna go get the fuzz. Walks away.
Yeah, like cages him.
Walks away, and then the real Santa finally shows up again to try and help out his dude. And he's like, why did you do that? And he's like, because I don't care about the business. I care about this little girl. And Santa's like, oh, you learned your lesson now. Touches his nose. Touching his nose is his magic. And finally, the curse is lifted on Hunter. And he is free to be himself again.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the more, in terms of film, definitely the weirder lifting the curse referendums or lifting the curse conditions.
Yes, I want
you see in
I want you to commit a crime,
like in Groundhog Day. True love lifts the curse.
Yeah, this is very similar. Very similar to Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is very.
Usually it's true love.
Yeah,
usually true love lifts the curse.
Which I think he does demonstrate in that he finally acknowledges that people are more important than the profit, than the bottom line. So the security guard comes back, sees that it is now Hunter, that is Drake now, doesn't question it at all.
Yeah, he's like, all right, boss.
He's like, did you see where Santa Claus went? And he's like, nope, I didn't see him. That's super weird. Anyway, good job.
No, he was there. He was there right next to him, and he's like, yeah, Santa. Like, oh, this guy, and then he was like, let him free.
No, yeah, he's like, I'll handle it.
And then he's like,
we always see,
like, all right, boss.
Yeah,
like, you got it, boss.
Yeah, so he gets the doll. The guard goes away. Hunter is like, Drake is like, can can you make me look, can you take me to the little girl, the at most maybe 11 or 12-year-old girl. He's like, yeah, can you take me there? Santa teleports Kevin Sorbo into this little girl's bedroom. Very weird. He's like, can you make me look like you one more time? So he makes Kevin Sorbo look like Santa one last time. He goes to this little girl, gives her this $250 stolen doll. So he appears in this girl's bedroom, Kevin Sorbo and Santa. He appears, he asks to look like Santa Claus. He gives her the toy as Santa Claus. The real Santa Claus, as you said, Trey, hides behind the door very poorly. Hides behind that.
Yeah, really poorly.
Really poorly. He's a big fat man in a big red suit. It's not easy to hide.
No.
So he hides behind the door. Santa, Kevin Sorbo, talks to this little girl and is like, you have to promise that you'll never stop believing in me. Never. She says, okay, thanks. Takes her $250 doll, curls up, goes to sleep. And Kevin Sorbo disappears. And all I could think was, how's she going to explain it to her mother?
Right. And this goes back to the whole problem I have with a lot of these movies, which is like, is Santa real? Can we make a decision? Is Santa real?
I wish the I wish the HCU would commit.
Yeah.
Is tiptoeing around. Ugh.
So that's the end of the movie, pretty much.
Well, so he goes.
Oh, I forgot.
we need to wrap up this love story because it's whack. There's as you mentioned, there's a meet cute between the girl and Santa Claus, and then later on they're having a conversation over. You texted me last night, very excited over our first mistletoe appearance. It's there. Ooh, baby, it's a plot point. Would you like to discuss the first mistletoe appearance?
It's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's horrible. Like it is so awkward. It hurt me. This guy's like maybe pushing 80, I want to say, as Santa. Like that's what I'm intuiting. So the social worker and Kevin Sorbo are just standing around, right?
Yeah.
They're just hanging around. And I think, I forget who mentions it, but somebody looks up and says, hey, there's a mistletoe.
She cracks open the nog first. She gives him some eggnog first.
And Nancy is like, it's part of tradition to, like, it's bad luck if you don't kiss whoever you're standing under the mistletoe with.
That mistletoe bad luck.
I think Kevin Sorbo had the same thought that I did.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, is she about to kiss me as Santa? Like, that's problematic. And then she kisses him on the cheek.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but then it opens more questions where it's like, it feels like Santa, like Chris Crandall, talks differently and has like a different personality than Drake Hunter.
Yes.
So like when they fall in love later, did she just like enjoy the company of the Santa, or did she actually have like romantic feelings but was like, only if
you have stumbled upon the true ethical quandary of this movie.
Yeah,
which is
like that part was it was weird, dude. But go ahead.
Which is, do they fall in love as Santa and the girl, or do they fall in love as the boy and as the girl? Because when do they fall in love? Because one is weird, and one is still kind of weird because he's using the knowledge he acquired as Santa to seduce this girl.
I just want to say, if I had a charitable heart, and I found myself interacting with like the elderly frequently, and I was like doing like Meals on Wheels stuff, possibly over Christmas time, and I found myself under a mistletoe with an elderly person, like an elderly lady, me being a young person, I wouldn't goad the elderly into giving me a smooch.
Absolutely not.
That's just my thing. I wouldn't point out the mistletoe. Like if the elderly pointed out the mistletoe. Okay, so first of all, if Santa pointed out the mistletoe and was like, it's bad luck to not give me a smooch right now, that'd be creepy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But when she did it though, the creepiness didn't stop.
Mm-mm.
Like it felt weird, and I think you share that.
The beginning of the introduction of the mistletoe secret, I didn't like.
Yeah.
I hope we compound on the mistletoe secret some more. I think we can both agree we don't have any way of knowing any more about the mistletoe secret. If anything, I'm more in the dark now.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Than at the beginning of this movie. I'm going to say it. We got to keep diving into these movies. Did you have any connection, though, between the Santa suit and our earlier films?
Yes. Do you remember what I said about Call Me Mrs. Miracle?
If I recall properly, we had about an hour and 25 minutes of raw audio to say about Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
So we do remember Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
I do, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember when I said that Mrs. Miracle is a North Pole operative trying to destroy all businesses?
Yes.
At Santa's direction.
Well, trying to destroy the businesses of the future, yes.
Yes. Now, what did Santa do this movie in the Santa suit?
He did exactly what you said he would do.
Am I wrong?
You're not. No, we've got 2 movies now that really, really solidify your theory there.
Because, like the secretary or whatever, like the person who's working the front desk, what's her name?
Her name is...
Can't remember what her name is. Is it Marge?
I have the same voice when I say it. Yes, it is Marge. Good job. Rosemary Dunsmore as Marge.
Gotcha. Yeah, so she is like, dude, you're running your pockets pretty dry here with this plan. This is Santa's goal. Santa wants all of the toy stores to completely 100% run out of business, whether it be running out of business with good in their hearts or not. And Santa, this movie, straight up accomplished that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see this come to a peak later in the first phase, or maybe in the second phase. Santa's plan being fully laid out when we get a more Santa-centric movie.
Yeah, because, sorry, we didn't mention the true ending of the movie. Hunter becomes the human again. He becomes himself again. He goes and wants to give the bonuses. He wants to give an employee discount. He wants to do all of the good things that he has learned.
Yes.
Namely around, as you said, giving away all his money.
Yes.
And driving his company.
Running dry the funds of the company.
Driving his company into the ground. Absolutely.
And whether that be a good for the people or not, it's great for the people. However, as we know, prices will rise. All the fun stuff will happen. He eventually will go out of business. He is still making terrible toys. Nobody buys dolls anymore.
But we know the one person that this is very good for. And it's the big fat man at the top.
It is. Yep. That's true. Santa wins this one.
For keeping track, this is a win in the Santa column.
Yeah. And I think we might see other people in Santa suits. Santa might be hanging around picking his nose a couple times, but nearby some people, and might body snatch some people.
Absolutely.
If you catch my drift. I think at this point, now that we know the full complicate what happens when Santa takes someone's body, I think we can take that knowledge and plan it in different movies.
Absolutely, yeah. Anytime we see a CEO make a snap decision or a change of plans that will endanger long-term profits, I think we've got to question if that's really Santa. I want to put this in the world, and I think if we need to adjust this later on, we can. I think perhaps the first thing I thought of when I heard cheap, dangerous toys was the Intellitron from Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
Interesting. Do we know who made the Intellitron, or do we just know it's the Intellitron?
We know it's the Intellitron. I went back and checked. I did not hear a brand mentioned. So I would like to posit that the Intellitron is Hunter Toys Intellitron.
Gotcha.
Very in line. Yeah, very in line with this idea. And possibly, because we don't know what the real Santa gets up to, it's very possible he pretends to be Hunter so that he can mass produce the Intellitron while Hunter's off doing good deeds to further drive the stake in the heart of his multi-million-dollar empire.
That's a good point. That is a really good point, because he does leave that memo where he has gone on vacation.
Yeah.
But we don't truly know what exactly, who he left the reins to.
Yeah, who's in charge? Does someone else maybe they are the ones who realize that the Intellitron has trouble and they have to recall it and lose all that money.
Yeah.
Maybe
you're absolutely right.
And maybe it's that well-meaning secretary who's like, thank God, I've known that the Intellitron was dangerous. Now that he's gone, I'm going to pull it.
Yeah.
I think this makes perfect sense.
I think this all makes sense.
Because then the Intellitron isn't Santa being an outside influence. That's man's own hubris that Santa allows to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think Santa does have these degrees of allowing man to get in its way. Yeah, he knows the fallacy of man, and the fallacy of man is man.
Trey, I think we've cracked these films wide open, and by these films, I mean the Santa suit, and we glanced at the table occupied by November Christmas.
I think we really did a good job this time.
Yeah.
And especially this time, I feel like our degrees are really coming in handy as we get 5 films deep.
Oh man, we are 5 films deep at this point. I think your BS was really doing the work this week.
Really, you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
you called it perfectly with Call Me Mrs. Miracle, and we are seeing the fruition of that early groundwork you laid for us really come into being here. All right, so next week we will be watching Farewell, Mr. Kringle and The Santa Incident.
Yeah, The Santa Incident, which one sounds like a eulogy and the other sounds like the crime that is the direct cause of the eulogy that is said.
And I'm hoping we get that direct Santa movie, because now we need some more answers about Santa.
Yeah, I think we've had we had touchstones on Santa where we're kind of vaguely hinting at his backstory, but I really want a Santa-centric movie, and I think we might find that in here, because it looks like we're going to have 2 Santas back to back.
I'm very hopeful. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
All right, well, for the Mistletoe Detective Agency, this has been Daniel Kunkel.
And for the Powdered Sugar Forensic Squad head, I'm Trey Plotnicki. Director, and of that, it's Trey Plotnicki.
We really want to remind you to stay jingling
and stay jolly.
Thanks for
watching.
Listening.